What if I told you that the betrayal that almost broke you could be the breakthrough that builds you?
Ooh, I like this one.
You have any idea what we're talking about?
Sure don't.
All right. Welcome to the Amee and D podcast. I'm your host, Amee Widders. This is my co-host and husband, D. Widders. Today we're talking about 5 ways that infidelity can actually strengthen and better a relationship. I know we're going to take some heat for this one.
Yeah, well, you are. I feel like they always come for you, but I'm the one that cheated. So.
Well, people often ask, is your relationship really better now? Like, are you really healed? And I do believe, and I know other people that have been down this road before say the same, that the relationship is actually better now.
I think that if we can properly articulate these points you got, then we can show people that.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
that's the whole point of this podcast. The whole point of what we're doing is to give people hope and point them back towards Jesus.
Absolutely.
Because 5 points to prove that we have a stronger relationship is good and everything, but there's only one thing that people need.
There's only one way, Yahweh.
The way, the truth, and the life.
Absolutely, man. All right.
Let's get it.
Number 1, radical honesty becomes the new standard. Infidelity often exposes hidden truths about needs, wounds, and desires that were never voiced. Once the secret is out, there's nowhere to hide. Couples who decide to rebuild often commit to a deeper level of honesty than ever before. There's no more surface level combos and, operate with full transparency. So we don't lie to protect each other anymore. We tell the truth to heal each other.
What a scam that is that, like, most men, I feel like, I'm just speaking for men, lie and say, oh, I'm not telling her everything because, I don't want to hurt her. It's like, just.
Yeah, but you shouldn't be doing those things in the first place.
How about you just don't do the wrong thing? And
Exactly.
then you ain't got to worry about it. What's one thing, like, what can you remember a story of when I started being super honest with you?
When I punched you upside the head on the freeway, the first time that I found out about the cheating, because I was tired of you lying to me.
Yeah, you got to be willing to die for the, no, I'm just kidding, die for the truth.
Yeah, I was just tired of you insulting my intelligence. Like, I think a lot of the time when women are asking you questions, especially with infidelity, we already have, like, a good idea of what the answers are going to be because we're FBI detectives and we've done
Facts.
lots of investigating already. So we're just waiting for you to tell the truth. And I just got to a point where you just would not tell the truth and just kept lying and lying and lying. And that made me feel like you think I'm stupid, bro.
Yeah.
So I punched you upside the head on the freeway in San Diego. And for that short moment, you started telling me the truth and, like, opening up to me. And I'm not telling anybody to go pop their husband or their boyfriend in the head. I'm just saying that once you finally started talking, like, it allowed healing to become possible. If you don't and you keep on lying, it doesn't open that door at all.
No, yeah, you have to imagine the more lies you tell, the further you're going to get away from any type of healing, any type of restoration. You literally look at it like you're pushing that person further and further away from being okay.
Yeah, and the truth shall set you free.
Yeah.
You have any stories where you were, like, lying and I got you to tell the truth? Or a moment where you were like, man, I'm done lying. I don't want to be like this no more.
Yeah, 100%. I remember being scared to death, to tell you the truth. And this is before we were married, and I had moved back to San Diego, but you were still here in Las Vegas. And we were on the phone, and I was working for my dad, like, delivering lumber, and you were like, I remember asking God, like, which is such a stupid question, but, like, do you want me to tell her the truth? And, like, being afraid, like, God, like,
Did you think God was going to tell you
is this
no?
what you really want me to do? Like, just spill the beans and tell her? And he's like, duh, fool. So I did. And then I think I went back and forth with, like, telling you the truth and then hiding stuff, telling the truth, hiding stuff. But I think that was because every time I did tell the truth, I could see that it hurt you. And then I got afraid. Instead of being like, every time I hurt you, it got a little bit better. So if anybody could take any advice from this first point, it's like, yes, it might suck when you tell the truth, but every single time you tell the truth, it's going to get a little better.
All right. Number 2, old foundations get demolished and rebuilt stronger. I feel like we touch on this a lot. Like, you got to break that.
This is my favorite point.
You
we
have to
always make.
break the old relationship down, or like it already has been destroyed and you have to build it back up on a new foundation. But sometimes your relationship was built on shaky ground, people pleasing, avoiding conflict, unspoken resentment. Infidelity forces you to tear it down and rebuild from the ground up. This time it's with clear values, real boundaries, and purpose. The pain made us build something brand new, something real.
Yeah, I believe that most people who find themselves in infidelity or cheating didn't start their relationship off the right way, right? Like you didn't build your relationship on Jesus, right? The rock. Like the word says that if you don't build your life on that, then storms are going to come, and you're just, like if you build your house on the sand, the storm will come and you're just going to get demolished. So if you start off, like if you're listening to this and you're just getting into a relationship, build it on that, and then you won't have to worry about this. But if you're like us and how we were, and you didn't build it on that from the jump, that wasn't number one over everything else, then tear it down, literally tear it down to the foundation and rebuild on top of that.
Well, when betrayal happens, it automatically, I feel like it gets torn down, it gets demolished.
Only if you tell the truth, only if you're completely open and
True.
honest, because you
But
might,
either way, it's on shaky ground because you're
yeah,
the one doing all the dirt and the other person has no idea. And
eventually
that's
it'll crumble.
deceitful, regardless of whether they find out or not. You're still being deceitful.
Facts. I always say, look at it like we live in Las Vegas and we see every once in a while they'll demolish one of these casinos and then they'll rebuild this brand new, like beautiful thing on top of it. Look at your relationship like that. Some old, decrepit, janky casino that smells horrible like cigarettes, and there's old people, there's like two old people gambling in there, and it's like doesn't need to be there anymore. Tear that thing down and rebuild something beautiful on top of it.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. You're beautiful.
Thanks.
All right, so what's point number 3?
Number 3 is you learn to fight for each other, not with each other. So when you've almost lost each other, your perspective shifts. Petty arguments don't hit the same. You stop keeping score and you start showing up with humility and compassion because now you know what it's like to nearly lose it all. So we used to fight to be right, and now we fight to stay connected.
I think it was Omar who told me a long time ago that it's not about being right. It's about being effective, right? Like I could join the debate team or become a lawyer and argue a case that I'm completely guilty for and win that case, but that doesn't benefit you in a relationship. What benefits you in a relationship is coming together and communicating and coming to an agreement, right? Because both people have an opinion or have a feeling of how things should go. And when you are just going back and forth and not trying to see it from the other person's perspective, then that is how you end up further and further apart from each other. But the whole point we're trying to make with this episode is these are the 5 reasons or 5 things that's proving that you can be stronger after infidelity, and you can 100% learn how to communicate and not fight with each other and fight for each other.
I think it's really important too, and I feel like you've taught me this in the many years that we've been together, is not only is it like, or maybe I said this part, but it's like it's you two against a problem, not you two against each other. And then you're listening to understand, you're not listening to respond. And I think a lot of the time for me, I won't even let you get a full thought out because I'm so quick to respond.
And that comes from your childhood of where you didn't get to like let your thoughts out and you think everybody's always against you.
Right. And so I've tried to learn, or like constantly in my head, like let him finish his thought and let there be like a pause before I start to say anything. And then there's also things that I might say in the heat of the moment, or you might say, and the other person doesn't even realize that that's a trigger for them.
Yeah.
Like even today saying, I'm checked out because I just don't want to argue anymore. I need a pause. But to you, that's what if I say I'm
It's
checked
a trigger
out,
from like my mom leaving when I was a little kid.
and you think when I say I'm checked out,
You're
like
gonna
I'm
dip.
about to go pack my bags and leave you and our children.
Yeah. And it's scary, right? And I think in the back of my head, which is something probably a lot of cheaters have, and it's probably a reason why they keep doing what they're doing, is you think, okay, I already did all this wrong, she could just leave me or he could just leave me at any second and be justified. So you keep making the same mistakes when it's like, no, you need to switch your perspective in the way that you're thinking and be like, I just need to worry about what I can control and what I can do. If I
Well, and I've
become,
literally never left.
yeah,
I've
exactly.
never left you. I've never abandoned you. Even in the times that I could have easily been like, yeah, bruh, I'm out of here. I've always been like standing in the gap for you or, interceding on your behalf in the moments where you were doing whatever you were
Yep.
doing.
Which goes to show you that, yes, words, like the Bible says, life and death is in the power of the tongue. Your words matter. But at the same time, that faith without works is dead, right? Like you could say whatever you want, but if you're not putting in the work, right, you're showing me you're not going to
Yeah.
leave me, right? It's what's better, you to say I'm going to leave and stay, or you to say I'm going to stay and leave.
Well, and then your actions also are showing me that you're not going to cheat. You're not going
Yeah.
to run away from the problems we have. You're not going to self-sabotage and do things because you think I'm really going to leave,
Yep.
things like that. So it's both of you guys healing and both of you guys working on really healing that inner child.
Yep.
A lot
Together.
of us are just little kids, man, in grown up bodies that haven't healed from stuff that happened to us.
Yeah, and I think that once you can really understand the concept of where the word says two become one flesh, right? You're literally taking two completely different people. Like you're from Buffalo, New York. I'm from San Diego, California. Like we're two completely different sides of the country, like different family upbringings. Like your parents are still together.
Yeah.
My mom left when I was 6. Like my mom and sister died. Like your family is way different than mine. And it's like if we can learn to become one together, then everything's good.
Yeah.
All right, what's point number 4?
4 is your intimacy can deepen emotionally and physically. When healing is intentional, intimacy can go to levels it never reached before. Emotional vulnerability becomes safe, and when that safety is restored, physical intimacy becomes more meaningful than ever. So we stopped going through the motions and we started connecting soul to soul.
It's crazy. We've been together 17 years, and this is the closest I've ever felt to you in my life.
Yeah.
And it is because we're putting in the work and we're praying together and we're in our word together and we're
Where we are now, if you would have asked me back then, do I see this for us? I would have said, there's no way. There's no way that how broken we are could ever become fixed to this capacity. Like, I really thought we would get to a place where, like, okay, you're not cheating anymore, but we're not going to love each other the way that we love each other now. But God always gives you double for your trouble and always has a better plan than you could even think of or imagine.
it makes me so like emotional because
You don't look very emotional.
I don't care. It makes me very emotional because I understand, I fully grasp the concept that everything I have, I don't deserve. Like it's a
None of us do,
100%
though.
blessing from God. Yeah, but out of everybody I know, right? Like thousands and thousands of people I know, people I've cut their hair, just that working in that club, everybody I know, I feel like I have jacked up my life the most. I have done the most wrong. Like I've lived through some crazy stuff, and I know that, but beyond a shadow of a doubt, that the only reason I have you and the only reason I have these kids and the only reason I have like the people that God has placed in my life that are such a blessing to me is because of his faithfulness and his grace and his love and his mercy. And it just makes you believe even more. Like if you're listening or watching this and you don't believe in Jesus yet, right? Which you should. You can just go do your own. If you start doing your own homework, you're going to end up believing because he's the truth. It's the truth. Like I've done my own homework, right? So go do yours. But just if you watch our relationship and you watch who we are as people and the things, the stories we get to tell, the testimony we have, it's all God. It's 100% God. Like I said, we can have these 5 ways to prove that, infidelity is going to make your relationship stronger, but just lean on that one thing that you can get through anything: infidelity, death of your parent, death of your sibling, molestation, addiction, whatever it is, with God, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you keep saying, like, oh, I was such a bad person. I did all these horrible things. Like, I don't deserve any of this. But at the core, you were a good person. You've always been a good person at the core. You weren't just doing horrible things back then. You did good things also. You were just lost. And God used me to help you find your way back. That's it.
Thank
And
you.
God showed me that, like, this is not who he is. You and I both know this is not who he is. He just needs help. And I think sometimes we don't take the time to really help somebody. We don't think about our impact on people. We sometimes don't even obey what God asks us to do. And so I would tell people to really try to lean into that, because you never know how it's going to change that other person, but then you never know how it's going to bless you either.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Love you.
that's on emotional and physical
Yeah.
intimacy.
It's crazy because we had sex like 3, 4, 5 times a day for like a.
Okay,
I'm just
Daniel.
saying, like, before any of this, like it's not like
We
that's why I
weren't praying
cheated on you. Yeah,
together. We weren't in our Bible.
we weren't praying for our sex life, our marriage bed, which is something you
We
should be
shouldn't
doing,
even been doing none of that. We weren't married yet.
right? But I'm just saying, like, the word says we go from glory to glory. Things can't, and what I'm like just sitting here right now thinking about this, I'm like, man, it's only gonna get better. It's not gonna get worse. We're only gonna get closer together. We're only gonna be more intimate. It's only gonna get better.
Yeah, because our focus now is having God at the center of it.
Yep.
And I feel like we've been through all the bad stuff:
Yeah.
infidelity, miscarriages, death, all that stuff. Like, if we got through all of that and came out of it, we're good, man.
Yeah.
What else could there be?
And no matter,
Financial struggles. Like, we've been through so much stuff already.
what I'm saying too is like the Bible says, in this life you will have trouble, but take heart because Jesus said, I have overcame this world. Like, we're going to go through more stuff. More stuff is going to hurt us, piss us off. People are going to hurt us. But at the end of the day, we have him. So we have our minds made up. No matter what I go through, like, I'm going to serve him. I'm going to
Yeah.
trust him. I'm going to be faithful and have faith in him. Like, it's all
Love
good.
people no matter what.
Yeah, no matter what
Forgive
somebody does to
people.
me, I'm going to forgive them. I'm
Yeah.
going to love them. It's all good. The Bible says, count it pure joy when you fall into various trials. Like, no matter what, I'm joyful. I'm thankful, whatever we get to go through. And we get to go through it together.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts, my guy.
All right, what is point number 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th.
I plead the fifth. 5 is God becomes the center instead of an afterthought. So I feel like we kind of just talked about this, but for many Christian couples, infidelity is the moment they surrender, not just the relationship, but themselves. You stop trying to fix it alone and you let Jesus lead. And when Christ becomes the foundation, the restoration becomes supernatural. So we gave up control, and that's when we fully started healing. And I would say that is what happened. Like, I first was the example for you. I first had no friends, no family to talk to about it, so I leaned on God completely. And then I think that example is what really convicted you and made you want to do the same.
Yeah, me seeing that you couldn't do it, like you only could do it with God, right? You weren't doing it on your own. I'd come home from cheating on you, you'd be reading your word, or you'd be worshiping,
Nice to you.
or reading a book. Yeah, cooking me food, laying my clothes out on the bed, like literally the perfect woman. It's super convicting, and it made me like realize one of my favorite sayings lately has been, you don't go to the gym. I'm sorry. One of my favorite sayings lately has been, you don't get buff and then go to the gym. You go to the gym and then you get buff. You don't get clean and then get in the shower. You take a shower to get clean. And so you don't get your life together and then come to Jesus. You come to Jesus and then he gets your life together. And then like you said earlier, you fully surrender everything, right? Like, I give you everything. It's in your hands, and that's the best place that your life can be, right?
Yeah.
When you're always trying to control everything and do it how you think is best, you're going to mess up. You're going to make mistakes. But when you're filling yourself with the Holy Spirit and when you're following Jesus, at the end of the day, you can't go wrong. Like,
And his plan is always better than what you have planned. So if what you had planned don't work out, trust that he's got something way better on the other side for you.
And I didn't never realize that until last year when you almost died and when Sunny, our youngest daughter, almost died. And I was sitting there in the NICU for a week and I'm just holding my baby on a respirator, looking at her, and you're in the other room and I have to go back and forth every 3 hours, feed her, come back, check on you. And I'm praying and I'm like, God, I've seen you like heal cancer off of my body. Like I've seen you do all these things and restore my relationship with my wife. I've seen you where my oldest son, they said he might not ever talk. Like now that dude's a genius, right? I've seen you do all these things and we're sitting here in this NICU and I know that you could heal my daughter, right? I know like them saying she has a valve in her heart and all this. She can't, her lungs are full of stuff. She can't, and I'm like, I seen you do all these things. So I know that at the snap of a finger, you could heal our daughter, right? But you're not. So then what are you showing me right now? Because I'm sitting in the middle of the storm and it's calm. I'm with my daughter. She's still alive. My wife, she almost died. She's still alive. What are you trying to show me? And it was, I'm here regardless. Whether it's good, whether I do some immediately, whether I'm doing it on my time, it's good. And I'm not going to question God. I'm going to ask him questions, but I'm not going to ever doubt that his plan is better than my plan. Like his plan is always going to be better than our plan. So it's good to just sit and wait and trust him. And at the end of the day, like you said earlier, it's always going to end up better than we thought.
And it did. She's perfect now.
Just like you. You're perfect.
And I realized that, my family needs to come first, that I was prioritizing all the wrong things.
Yeah.
And it made me like way less stressed out too. Like it showed me what is really important and what's not.
Yeah. It's a good episode. Hopefully this helps somebody.
Yeah.
I think it's so important, man. Just give people hope. Show them that it's possible. This isn't like a fluke,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think people have the hardest time believing that it is possible to have a better relationship after infidelity, and also, can a cheater really change? Like they see us, I go on lives all the time, and that question gets asked so much. And like even with seeing us and how we are now, I'm pretty sure you can see that we are genuinely best friends. People still are like, but are you really though? Like, is he really changed? Like, it's only a matter of time. And
we'll see. Better stay tuned in and see if I fall off. I would let us know in the comments. Do you think?
Like, comment, subscribe. If you've gained value from this video, share it with somebody. If you want any resources, we have the Healing Devo Journal, which I've been doing every day on live, which has been fun. The 7-day anointed affirmation prayers. We have a relationship checklist also that we talked about in previous episodes. I'm also working on a forgiveness workbook, which should be out hopefully by this coming week. We have a lot of stuff that we have planned for you guys and in store for you guys to just further help you on your walk through healing through this. And we'll catch you in the next episode.
Peace. I can't reach you.
My arms.
Peace.